New text message in a civil lawsuit linked Brett Favre to a former Mississippi governor. The text suggests that the plan was to divert $5 million to play for a new volleyball stadium.
$5 million in welfare money to pay for a new volleyball stadium where Brett Favre's daughter played at Southern Miss. Yep.
Right. Sorry.
No, you're fine. I jumped in.
Obviously, yeah, Favre's daughter was on the team.
Yeah.
What do you think of this situation?
Okay. So, obviously, this is just pathological. And Shannon Sharp said it. Miss Shannon Sharp said this part, and it's correct. I just want to reiterate it. Mississippi is the poorest state in the country. The poor people of Jackson, Mississippi, don't even have clean drinking water. And it also happens to be a city my wife lived in, the city, or the state my wife lived in, and the state where DeMonte was born. And it is just pathological to steal, which is what this is, from the poorest people in the country, which is what welfare recipients in Mississippi qualify as some of the poorest, most destitute people in the country. And to divert these funds so you can look like a hero, like you donated money to Southern Miss for a volleyball stadium, is just unfathomable. This is on top of the fact he already got some money from the state for speeches he didn't give. But everyone agrees with that. I think everyone agrees with that take. Here is where I said it's going to touch on politics. It is absolutely maddening to me and the media has a ton to do with this, and the just people's general perceptions, what we decide to get angry about. My entire life, my whole life, I have seen people elected or run campaigns or the news media focus on what they call waste or abuse of basically poor people getting too much. We'll give you food stamps, but are you going to spend it on lobster? Oh, where you can have welfare if you're working poor, but you need to verify through 6 levels of bureaucracy that you're actually working out, getting a job. Like, this is where the waste of our tax dollars go. That it's poor people that are getting over on everybody. And it's just impossible when you know how the world actually works. When you know that nobody of any substance bats an eye, that we all agree, oh yeah, the wealthiest people have spent a lot of money to work around taxes, to cheat on taxes, to find loopholes in taxes. That is money that could go in the coffers. The coffers are so worried about that if a poor person wants to go to the grocery store, there's certain foods they can't buy because they don't qualify. But nobody looks at it in the same bucket. We all acknowledge that some of the most profitable companies in the country, we are paying their employees and nobody cares. What do I mean we are paying their employees? Okay? So this is very simple, and I don't know why more people don't talk about this. All right? We have decided, rightly or wrongly, I think rightly, that there is a poverty threshold in this country. That if you don't make X amount of dollars, we, the taxpayer, will kick in with food stamps, welfare, Medicaid, different things to help you get there. Get to what we call like the basic minimum standard of living. We've also decided as a country that there is a minimum wage companies must pay. It hasn't raised in my lifetime, it feels like, around $8 an hour. We know what full-time work is, okay? Full-time work is 2,080 hours a year. Call it $8 an hour, even though the federal minimum wage is a little lower than that. So 2,080 times $8 an hour, you're at $16,160. That is beneath the amount of money you need to make to qualify for welfare, food stamps, Medicaid. So we, the taxpayer, kick in the difference. Nobody makes this point. That just means we, the taxpayer, are paying the wages for Walmart and McDonald's and all these massive companies. Their employees make less than poverty level. They're working full time. We say, okay, you should make more, which of course you should. Nobody says, God damn, That seems ridiculous. If you work a full-time job, you probably shouldn't need government assistance.
Right.
But we allow these companies to have a full-time wage be so little that even if you work a full-time job, you qualify for government assistance. It's insane. We just the vitriol we as a country and lack of care we have for poor people, putting spikes on benches so people can't sleep on them. It's just such anger and disdain that the governor of the poorest state in the country can think, you know what? I know this $5 million might actually help some really, really down and out people. But I'd rather get to hang out with Brett Favre for a bit. And Brett Favre, who's from Mississippi, who, even though maybe doesn't hang out with him now, undoubtedly knew very poor people growing up. It's like, you know what? Let's do it. Let's just make sure nobody finds out. It's gross. It is absolutely gross. And our inability as people to focus on the real villains and instead act like anybody out there barely holding on by a thread is there because they want to be there. They're just lazy. Man, nobody when they were 10 years old was like, here's my plan. I'm going to work as little as possible, sponge off the government, maybe panhandle a bit, never be able to have any luxuries whatsoever because that's easier than working a full-time job. People are there, yes, sometimes because of bad choices, but they're just, it's just unbelievable, and it makes me so mad.
Hey, thanks for watching. Hit the subscribe button to get more from the show, and make sure to click the bell to get notified every time new content drops. Check out full episodes of What's Right wherever you get your podcasts, or just click the link in the description below.